So, as of this afternoon, the shooter of Charlie Kirk has formally been charged, and the prosecutor is seeking the death penalty based on charges of aggravated murder as well as witness tampering, among some other things. I had a moment of surreality watching the stream of the sentencing announcement as the 70-year-old prosecutor was reading out the phrases that had been inscribed on the casings and unspent rounds in the magazine used in Charlie's murder. Allegedly, at this time, Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, scraped a couple of intense meme lord things into his cartridges, knowing they'd be found. The first was, "Hey fascists, catch," with some arrows apparently referencing Helldivers 2, which is a game that was pretty popular kind of last year. The second was, "Notice his bulge, what's this? OWO." And the prosecutor said this as "Notice's bulge," because he had no idea what he was reading. And the third was lyrics of Bella Ciao, which is a very niche Antifa song they would sing in Italy, actually, against the actual fascists there nearly 100 years ago. And finally, the last was, "If you read this, you are gay." And he got all of us with that one. I am now gay, you are now gay, and you've also lost the game. What an epic memester this shooter was. He got all of us. So on the stream, watching a man who was born in the 1950s, grew up in the 60s and 70s, reading these extremely internet language slogans and memes out loud, it was a transformative experience to me. This boomer, and I'm using that literally in a generational sense, not in a derogatory sense, has no idea what he is reading. In order to recognize these phrases, you need to basically be terminally online to some degree. A significant amount of your time needs to be spent online in various degenerate online communities, kind of joking around to get these messages. The notices bulge thing in itself is such a cross-section of ridiculous degrees of needing to know online culture. I mean, one, it is a role-play phrasing, as if narrating one's own actions. If you were ever in online chat rooms, back in the day, you've seen people doing this, and it's very uncomfortable. Two, the bulge that is being noticed is sexual in nature, and specifically referring to where one would not have expected a bulge to be there in some sort of trans she-male role-playing chat. Three, there is also a modicum of furry culture to this, in noticing a bulge through a costume, and the last thing here is that OWO is obviously an emoji face, which this prosecutor obviously had no idea what that even was, but it's meant to be sort of an animal emoji, obviously with wide eyes, as if they are suddenly realizing something. This might as well be a foreign language to the guy that was reading this out, that prosecutor. To a guy who grew up in the 50s and probably just uses a computer for emails and writing up legal documents, this is a completely foreign language. This alleged shooter spoke a language of ideas that the normal person has to be briefed on to not even understand, but just get the symbology of, to get the general idea. And this is how he came to murder Charlie Kirk. Now, it's been said at this point, there are text messages and Discord chats he was involved in with others he tried to instruct his roommate slash boyfriend to delete, and is being charged for that as well. Those just dropped about an hour ago at the time of me recording this. Discord, for those who don't know, by the way, started as a gaming chat app, so you could talk to friends while playing games, but now is a general chat messaging for whatever you want. It's sort of one level of nerdy internet onlineness deeper than Snapchat, which is a young people normie app, like everyone has Snapchat. Discord is like one level kind of deeper into being a geek than that. You can make Discord servers or groups for whatever you want, and Discord, the company, does have some degree of moderation and will work with law enforcement. But ultimately, moderation is left to the administrators of their own chats on Discord. So basically, we're looking at someone whose mind came to be so enveloped with his Discord life that he brought it out into reality. This is a lot of young people. Not just on the left, like this guy, but in all sorts of online communities. The ability of the internet and apps to bring like-minded people with insane ideas into echo chambers and hyping each other up and perpetuating those ideas can be very dark. The same day as Charlie Kirk was assassinated, a 16-year-old boy shot 2 other students and then himself at a high school because apparently he had become involved in some sort of online extremist, racial identitarian stuff. It's a bit unclear on that one, what they meant by that in the news stories. I'm still kind of looking into it. I want to make it clear to you, the viewer, who may be a very online young person, that the relationships, and I say relationships kind of quote unquote, you develop in Discord chats and online communities are not real. They are a form of parasocial relationship. These people do not really have your best interests at heart, and you have no idea who's on the other end. Could be a terrorist, could be a Fed. You have no idea who they are, and your friends and family in real life are more important. But we've reached a place where the internet and real life are colliding together because everyone is too online. Everyone spends way too much time staring at our phones, staring at our computer screens, having ideas and news and information and bad things beamed into our brains. So simultaneously to this happening, in the last few days on TikTok, Blue Sky, Twitter, Facebook, the people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and then being fired for it in some cases, these people too have had their minds warped by online input. Their phones have become a flashlight that shines ideas into their brains that they have absorbed, not realizing how far gone they are until being hit by a reality check. And, to some degree, we've all been there. We've all had moments where we get a reality check on some fantasies we've had, or we got way too into our own heads. It happens. The fantasy that had been cultivated in these people's minds was that Charlie Kirk was a racist, misogynist, transphobic, fascist, Nazi, poisoning the minds of youth in America, saying mean things, advocating for genocide, a danger to democracy, and therefore they felt it was good and justified for him to be killed, and they were happy that he was dead. Now, none of those things that they believe about Kirk are true, but the flashlight that shines ideas into their brain told them it was true, and it told them not only was it true, but that they were on the right side of history with the majority, that most people agreed with them, and most people believed those things about Charlie too. See, these people go on, say, Reddit, and they upvote anything they agree with, downvote anything they don't, and Reddit's moderation makes sure that misinformation is able to be perpetuated en masse if it's what they agree with. And this drives people even further into believing the majority are on their side and what they think is true because it's the most upvoted thing on the website that they go to. They believe this because in their little part of the world, Everyone is saying the same things and amplifying each other and even one-upping each other to say even more outrageous things, building off of the last things that have been said. Out in the real world, most people don't think that a conservative commentator who just goes around debating college students should be shot through the neck in front of his wife and children. But these people became so far removed from the real world into their online TikTok sphere and old media on TV that they had no idea their employers may not like that they were celebrating a person's death. Now, I'm actually of the opinion, for the most part, that they shouldn't be fired from their job, usually, if they work at Walmart or something. I'm a little more moderate on that one than a lot of people are. The only case I think there should be something done is if maybe they are politicians or public school teachers, in which case they should possibly just be put on administrative leave and be talked to about it. There was a teacher in Canada who showed the footage of their students, or showed the footage to their students, apparently of the assassination, and was fired for that, obviously. I mean, in that case, I kind of agree with that one. Like, you can't be showing 10-year-olds footage of a man being shot through the neck. But if you're a teacher and you're celebrating political violence, it sort of just shows that you might have some ideological capture that you need to sort out. And I think the school in that case should give a leave of absence for a time and get them to figure out that this is not okay. The bottom line here is that this shooter, from what we know right now, may have just committed this murder as a real-life ironic shitpost in some ways. Yes, it's clear that at this point it was politically motivated due to Charlie's positions on trans issues and possibly others, as the shooter allegedly said he didn't like the quote-unquote hate that Charlie spread. But from the writing on the casings, this guy somewhat thought that this was a big joke. He got so into his little chat room world that he had lost touch with reality and became an evil person. By all accounts, he was raised a good kid, smart, loving family, and all it took to get him firing shots at an innocent man was some years of mental rabbit holing online. If you're a parent, monitor or at least stay, connected with your kids and don't allow your teenagers unlimited phone and online access, for God's sake, please. Because this case shows how a kid from a good home becomes indoctrinated to hate his own family because his family were, by all accounts, Republican. And all of this due to just political ideology. Going down an antisocial rabbit hole, turning into a sad, deranged killer in adulthood from a very smart, bright young man.